Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 2, Part 3. In this part, we are going to talk about factors affecting the power of computers. Also, we will talk about computer operation and as well as input, output, and memory devices. So some of the factors that are affecting the power of computers are speed, accuracy, storage, and retrieval capabilities. Computer speed is being measured as the number of instructions performed per fraction of a second. Millisecond is 1 over thousands of a second. Macrosecond is 1 over millions of a second. Nanosecond is 1 over billions of a second. And picosecond is 1 over trillion of a second. The degree of accuracy is extremely important for many computer applications. Maybe humans can make mistakes, but computers don't make mistakes. So, for example, a small mistake could actually land a space shuttle to land in Canada rather than United States. So that small degree of inaccuracy could cause big problems. Next thing we will talk about is the storage and retrieval. Storage is basically means saving data in a computer memory, and retrieval means accessing the data from the memory. Computers can store a lot of quantities of data and locate a specific item quickly, which makes knowledge workers more efficient in performing their jobs. In computers, data is stored in a bit. A bit is a single value, which is a combination of zeros and one. 8 bits is called 1 byte. A byte is the size of a character. For example, the word computer consists of 8 characters or 8 bytes. So even a space counts as a byte. A binary system consists of zeros and one. 1 representing on and 0 representing off, like a light switch. Computers and communication systems use data code to represent and transfer data between computers and network systems. The most common data code for text file is called ASCII, or American Standard Code of Information Inter-Exchange. In an ASCII file, each alphabet, numeric, or a special character represented with a 7-bit binary numbers, a string of zeros or one. Up to 128 characters can be defined. There are 2 additional data codes used by many operating systems called Unicode and Extended ASCII, which Unicode is capable of representing 256 characters, and Extended ASCII also represents 256 characters. In the next part, we will talk about computer operations. Computers are capable to perform basic functions such as arithmetic, and also you're able to add, subtract, and make some calculation. They're also capable of doing storage retrieval and logical calculations. Next part, we will talk about input devices. Well, some of the input devices that you are familiar with are probably keyboard. Well, what is the input device? Input device sends data and information to the computer. They are constantly being improved to make data input much easier. So something like computer, touch screen, data tablet, barcode reader, and light pen. All of that are input devices. Also, optical mark recognition system is another device that can be used as an input. So also we have many outputs. Outputs are basically displaying out the result, for example. So like something like the monitor or a display like LCD is an output. The type of output is basically a hard copy, which means most common output device could be a printer, something like laser jet printer, different type of printers that we might have. So other type of output, which could be voice synthesizers, which also converts output to voice, and plotters, which can convert output to graphics. Next thing that we will talk about is memory devices. Basically, we have two kinds of memory: main memory and secondary memory. Main memory stores data and information and is usually volatile, meaning its content can be lost if the electric power goes off. Secondary memory, which is non-volatile, holds data when the computer is off or during when the computer is actually operating. It also serves as archival storage. So we have also something called random access memory, which is a volatile memory as well, in which data can be read from and written to. Basically, we also have a special kind of a RAM, which is called cache RAM, which stores recently accessed memory and reside on the processor as a memory access from main RAM storage takes several clock cycles. So non-volatile memory is called read-only memory, or what we call it a ROM, is a non-volatile memory. There are two types of ROM: programmable readable only, which is called PROM, and then we have another one which is called erasable programmer read only memory, which is EPROM. So in the secondary memory devices also we have something called magnetic disk. Magnetic disk is another type of memory. Also we have something called magnetic tape, which is made of a plastic material and it resembles a cassette tape. And also we have another one that's called optical disk, which can be used the laser beam to access and store data. And that's something like CD-ROM or DVD-ROM or these kind of secondary memory, which is called optical disks. Okay, we also have the secondary memory, which is called hard disk, USB flash drive, and also memory card, which nowadays a lot of people are using those. And all of the devices are supporting, a place for a USB flash drive or to stick it in, or maybe a memory card. And so all the computers have that. So what is a redundant array of independent disk, which is called RAID? RAID is basically a collection of disk drives used for fault tolerance and improved performance, and is typically found in large network systems. Data can be stored in multiple places to improve the system reliability. Also, we have another thing that's called cloud storage. Cloud storage is being used for online storage, And this is becoming very common nowadays. Many organizations are using this type of storage. And it involves multiple virtual servers that the cloud can be hosted. Customers also can buy or lease storage space from the third party based on their current or future needs. So basically, this is something that this picture is showing you what we talked about. The memory stick, which the storage capacity could be 16 gigabytes or less or more. Hard disk, storage capacity 2 TB, CD-ROM, DVD-ROM. Also, we have the latest generation of optical disc, which a lot of people might have heard about, is Blu-ray, which we are using. The next part that we are going to talk about is about storage area network and network attached storage, which is called SAN. SAN is a dedicated high-speed network consists of both hardware and software that are being used to connect and manage your storage devices, such as disk array. They can be used sometimes to do backups. SAN network makes storage devices available to all servers via local area network or wide area network, which we will discuss more in Chapter 6. Typically, SAN are being used in a large organization because they are costly and it's very difficult to work with, and they are complex. We also have another type of a storage area network, which is called NAS. On the other hand, is essentially a network-connected computer dedicated to provide file-based data storage services to other network devices. Some of the features that SAN has, that NAS has, can handle file access and file storage management. When we are choosing between a SAN and a NAS, some of the factors we need to consider. Sometimes we can use both of them, and we can call it a hybrid solution. SAN offers only storage, which NAS offers both storage as well as file server. NAS is very popular for the web servers and email servers because of its lower management costs and helps make the servers more fault tolerant. The biggest issue with NAS is that as the number of users increases, the performance goes down. So to improve the performance, you can add more CPU and more server so that it can be the performance could be improved. Okay, that's it for this part. Next video, we will talk about classes of computers. For now, take care. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last part of Chapter 2. In this part, we are going to talk about computer languages. As we have mentioned earlier, computer languages has developed through 4 generations, and currently we are using the 5th generation. The first generation of computer languages, which is called machine language, it consists of series of zeros and ones representing data or instructions. Machine languages depends on the machine. So code written for one type of computer doesn't work on another type of computer. It is actually to write in a machine language, it's very time consuming to write a code, and it's very difficult. The second generation computers, or maybe you have heard about assembly language, is basically machine dependent, and it's a higher level language than a machine language. So they are using a series of short codes to represent data or instructions. For example, to add or subtract, there are typical commands in assembly language that can be written. Third generation computers, or computer languages, or they are machine independent, and they are being called high level languages. such as some of the languages, maybe such as C++, Java, VB.NET. These are typical high-level languages that you can think about, third-generation computer languages, which they are being used still in the industry. These languages are used mostly for web development and internet applications, and that they are higher level languages than the second generation computers. They are more like English kind of a language, so they are easier to learn and to do the coding. Still, there are a lot of syntax that you have to be familiar with. We have also fourth generation languages, which are the easiest computer languages to use. There, again, commands are very powerful, very easy to learn, and it's an English-like language, so it is very easy to learn. So maybe some of the commands that you can think about, it's the SQL, or structured query language, which we will talk more in a database class, is a great example of the fourth generation language. Next, we have the fifth generation languages, which uses some of the artificial intelligence technologies, such as knowledge-based system, natural language processing, visual programming, and also a graphical approach to do programming. Codes are being automatically generated and designed to make the computer solve a given problem without a programmer intervention or any minimum programming effort. These languages are also designed to facilitate natural conversation between the users and the computer. They are languages that can be used also for internet programming and web development, which include ActiveX, JavaScript, Perl, Python, PHP, Visual Basic. So these can actually be the fifth generation programming languages. So the most important web development language that maybe you can think about is HTML or XML. XML, that can be, both of these languages can be used to actually create a program on the web. I think that concludes our lecture. So at the end, I just want to mention some of the keywords that you have to remember: application software, ALU, assembly language, bus, cache RAM, central processing system, cloud storage, computer, what is a control unit, what is a CPU case, what is disk drive. We talked about fifth generation languages, fourth generation languages, three generation languages or high-level languages. We talked about input devices, machine language. We also talked about magnetic disk, magnetic tape, main memory, motherboard. We talked about NAS. We talked about operating system. We talked about optical disk. Also, we have talked about RAM. We talked about ROM. We talked about RAID or redundant array of independent disk. We talked about secondary memory, server, a secondary area network. So you can look up these key terms from your book. Also, please look at the review and discussion at the end of chapter 2 to kind of understand more about this chapter. For the end of this chapter, you have to do a discussion and also an assignment. I'm going to also put the answers for a section that's called "Are you ready to move on?" And I will provide those answers for you so that you can see and review them. So at the end of this chapter, you just have to do one discussion, which is posted on Module 2, and also one assignment. I hope you have a great time, and I will look forward to speaking to you in another lecture. Take care for now. Bye-bye.